UFC 267 just wrapped up. I'm going to talk about the entire card. We'll talk about what actually happened in each and every fight. Overall, it was a fantastic one. Great moments, and honestly, I can't wait to get this post-fight breakdown started. So guys, smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn those post notifications on. Let's get at least 40 likes on this post-fight breakdown. I'd love to see more, but it is a new series that will be dropping, the what actually happened post-fight breakdown, and this is for UFC 267. Let's get into the first fight of the night. Down at the bottom here, it started off with Tagir Ulanbekov and Allan Nascimento in a pretty competitive back-and-forth grappling match. You know, top control tends to win you the fight, and that's obviously why Ulanbekov got awarded the decision. But Nascimento was throwing up nasty submission attempts. Wasn't much damage done from Tagir on top. I don't know. If it wasn't about top positioning, you could give the fight to Nascimento. He loses a split decision in his UFC debut against a real hot prospect at 125. We'll see Nascimento back. He's a nasty grappler. Tagir Ulanbekov's really good. I'm interested to see what he potentially brings to the table in the future. Not super active from the top position, though. Comfortable sitting in guard. He's fighting a guy that's throwing up submission attempts. I wasn't super impressed by the performance, but good win. Brings him to 13-1. He beats Allan Nascimento to start the night off. Let's keep on moving up. Let's get to the second fight of the night, where Andre Petroski ran over Yaozong Hugh. It wasn't a close fight. I expected more improvements from Hugh with this time off, losing weight. He looked terrible. He's not UFC caliber. I believe he deserves to be cut at this point. Petrovski ran him over. It wasn't competitive. And, you know, with Hugh being a Greco-Roman wrestler, you expect better takedown defense. Wasn't there. Petrovski showed that Hugh was not on his level. He destroyed him. He taps him out late with just 14 seconds left. It was one-sided traffic. Hugh had nothing for him. Petrovski's gas tank actually didn't look that bad. It looked a bit better. So hopefully we can see some consistent gas tank improvements for Petrovski. And I think he's an interesting prospect to keep an eye on. Good win for Petrovski. He beats Yaozong Hugh and moves forward in the middleweight division. We'll see what's potentially next for him. Let's keep on jumping up. Lerone Murphy, Makwan Amirkhani. Now, this was a very interesting fight in the first round because Makwan was able to get some top positioning, landing the takedown, but a beautiful knee 14 seconds in to the second as the takedown was being shot by Makwan Amirkhani. Lerone Murphy put some spark out. Brutal knockout. Big win for Lerone. He's 11-0-1. That draw to Zubaira Tukhugov. Not a bad draw to have at all. Moving forward, I think Lerone Murphy is etching his way towards some higher ranked guys. I don't know exactly who they'll give him next. I don't think you got to rush him, but he's getting near the featherweight division, top 15 for sure, after beating Makwan Amirkhani, and especially in the devastating fashion that he did. He's an explosive striker, and he is somebody to watch for sure. I'm super hyped to see what comes up in the near future for him. The next fight, Michael Oleksiejczuk, Shamil Gamzatov. Oleksiejczuk ran over the previously unbeaten Russian light heavyweight prospect. Wasn't competitive. He was the underdog coming in. His boxing skill, tricky and awkward as always, lands a massive uppercut that just crumbles Gamzatov. He didn't want anymore. He cracked the nose maybe. It didn't seem like his nose was broken, but it was a hard shot. Gamzatov went down immediately, covered up, turtled, stoppage. Michael Oleksiejczuk now moving forward. He's an interesting guy, like in that light heavyweight division. I would definitely say like a top-of-the-line gatekeeper. You're coming in 14-0, fighting elsewhere. You know, maybe you have one. I guess the one win against Klidzen Abreu he had wasn't impressive. And that's why I wasn't on Gamzatov here. I wasn't impressed by him at all. It was a southpaw that he was fighting, and he struggled with the southpaw in the fight before that. Oleksiejczuk, stoppage. Great performance for him. Still tricky journeyman / gatekeeper in that weight class, but he's only 26, so time will tell. I mean, looking at the resurgence guys have had, looking Glover, Jan Blachowicz, these guys are older guys in the light heavyweight division. Years of grinding got them to the top. Who knows? Oleksiejczuk could have some, contender potential for sure. The next fight of the night, Elizeu, Zaleski, Dos Santos, and Benoit Saint-Denis. The weirdest refereed fight I've ever seen. I thought the fight could have been stopped in the second round. I don't understand the point deduction in the third. Benoit Saint-Denis said that he couldn't see, so that fight should be stopped there. Terrible ref. Thank God they pulled him from the rest of the card. Great work on the UFC and the commission. That guy should never ref a fist fight again, not even children's karate. I don't want to see this guy involved in any type of martial arts combat. Reffing in general, not his thing. Terrible, terrible reffing. He was completely incompetent, and he really could have got Benoit Saint-Denis hurt badly. I mean, Saint-Denis a badass. He took the beating. This guy's, the equivalent of a Navy SEAL in France. Zaleski put it on him, though. Destroyed him for the 3 rounds. Clear-cut, unanimous decision. Wasn't close. He would have got a stoppage. Zaleski's a nasty, nasty guy to fight for your UFC debut. Saint-Denis is a good prospect. I'm impressed. He landed some takedowns. He showed a ton of heart, but he's not there just yet. 25 years of age, super young. Zaleski's been around for a very long time. Good win for him, and he'll still remain relevant moving forward. Saint-Denis will definitely be back, though. Now, the next fight, Albert Duraev and Roman Kopylov. Albert Duraev is no Khamzat Chimaev 2.0. The hype was real after he came in from the Contender Series. Kopylov nearly got him. He busted that eye open, dropped him with a big punch. Beating that he gave him was because Kopylov grabbed that fence. I don't know. I don't think the takedown would have been as bad if he would have just not grabbed the fence and got taken down. But when Herzog, the referee, resets them, this sets up the perfect takedown for Duraev. Gets on top, and he does work from the top position. And it wasn't, super competitive in that second round. It was a 10-8, I believe. Then, round 3, competitive action. Kopylov gave him hell. Super impressed with the toughness of Kopylov to sit in there and scrap, improve takedown defense. Duraev, decent guy, but I think we got to hold the brakes on his hype train a bit. He's not Islam Makhachev. He is a tough Russian fighter, but not at that same level. We'll see what's next for him in the UFC. I do think he might run into some trouble here coming in the future. But Kopylov, showed a lot of improvement. And we'll see what's next for both guys. And I would definitely tune in to either of them fighting again, of course. But for Duraev, definitely push the brakes on the hype train a bit. Definitely push the brakes. Now, the next fight was Zubaira Tukhugov and Ricardo Ramos. You know what? I got to give Ramos a lot of respect. He came to fight. He had some moments. Nice spinning back elbow that lands and rocks Tukhugov. Tukhugov really hurt Ramos. Competitive back and forth action, but Tukhugov did a bit more. Ramos, as I mentioned before the fights and the breakdowns, I do think the kid's got a ton of potential, and I think he really showed it here in this fight, even in loss. Tukhugov now gets a little streak going for himself. He's getting some more momentum on his side. I believe the last fight was a loss. Yeah, the Dawadu split decision. Now he beats Ramos. If he can keep this thing rolling, he is a top 15 level guy in the featherweight division. I don't think Ramos is super far behind. I do believe he'll eventually be towards that top 15, 26 years of age. I do think he has a bright future in the fight game. Good win for Tukhugov. He moves forward. I don't, consider him like the next big thing in the featherweight division. I don't see him fighting for that belt, but should be an interesting guy and a tough out for any of the top prospects on the rise. Now, the featured prelim of the night, Virna Jandiroba versus Amanda Ribas. First round was scary. Virna had top control, drops Ribas, but then second and third, it was all Amanda Ribas. She put on, the superior game overall. She's a good technician. I think that Amanda Ribas has a bright future in the UFC. I think I just have a feeling she'll eventually work towards that title shot because you do see consistent improvements, good heart. It's just now continuing momentum. Who will she fight coming forward? Towards the top of the weight class is a little bit log jammed, has that bad loss to Marina Rodriguez, fairly recently. I look at that weight class and I really think about who is right there for her. Let's see this top 15 real quick. I have it right in front of me for women's strawweight. Amanda Ribas, right now, ranked number 10. She beat Virna, who was number 12. You could give her somebody like a Claudia Gadelha, a Tisha Torres, any of those girls, really. She's definitely getting close towards that upper echelon of the weight class. Marina Rodriguez, who beat her, is now ranked number 3. So that loss at this point, really not a bad one. I still think Ribas stylistically also matches up fairly well against, the good grappler in the weight class, Carla Esparza. That'd be an interesting fight because of the jiu-jitsu of Ribas. So overall, bright future for Virna. She's sent back. I don't see her as that contender, but she's going to be a tough girl to beat in that top 15 for a lot of fighters on the rise. Now, let's jump to the main card. If you guys haven't yet, smash that like button. We'll talk about each and every fight. I'll also give you some potential future matchups for these fighters. Magomed Ankalaev, One scary moment in the first round, but other than that, it was domination throughout. He had the superior striking to Volkan, even though Volkan showed good takedown defense. Ankalaev was a different level, patient attack with his kickboxing, good combination strikes, nasty hook. You look at the whole game of Magomed Ankalaev, to me, it's contendership. I see him as maybe that next up guy, maybe a potential champion in the near future. At 29 years of age, he's extremely young for the light heavyweight division, especially with the champion being as old as he is now. Ankalaev, moving forward, if I had to throw a matchup out there, there's two that I like. If they want to give him like a big fight, it would be Alexander Rakic and him going at it. That'd be interesting. Maybe Thiago Santos as well. It's really going to depend on bookings, timelines, title defenses, who's fighting what, and what's the next number one contender fight. I think Ankalaev is like one away from that big spot. But if he fought Rakic and won, it'd be hard to deny this man a title shot. So I do like that fight for him. Maybe Thiago Santos could be it. And who knows? Anthony Smith could also find his way up there. Any of those three guys are realistic next outcomes for Magomed Ankalaev. Volkan Oezdemir, if I'm the UFC, I'm not going to give him a huge fight, but I don't know if Paulo Costa has to move up a weight class. That's an intriguing fight. Now, that'd be a difficult fight for Paulo because he'll be forced to get hit here against a durable guy in Volkan Oezdemir. I don't know. Maybe that matchup in the near future. I do think Oezdemir would have a real power edge and could potentially knock out Paulo. We'll see what they want to do. I like that matchup potentially for Ankalaev, though. It's contendership for sure. He's right there. The next one was Khamzat Chimaev running over Jingliang, a.k.a. Leech. Wasn't close. Gets the takedown, talks to Dana White in the process, gets the back control, peppers some ground and pound, works one rear naked, works a second, and then closes with the third, puts Lee to sleep. Got to respect him for not tapping out here, but level difference when the fight gets to the floor. Khamzat Chimaev is the real deal. I mean, I think this guy could be a champion in this weight class. I seriously feel like the most dynamic guy at 170 right now. His kickboxing, second to none. His grappling is second to none. He's fast, he's athletic, and he is strong as hell. He's also nuts. The guy loves to fight. He doesn't have those hang-ups other fighters have with pre-fight nerves. This guy's ready to go. He loves the fight game. Moving forward, if I'm the UFC, who am I putting Khamzat against next? There's two names that stand out to me. I like the idea of Neil Magny. He runs over Neil. Or if they really want to jump it, Michael Chiesa, give him a tough wrestler. I think he destroys both guys. Neither will stop him. For Leech, moving forward, he's kind of in an odd spot. Probably a bit of time off. Maybe a Jeff Neal fight, even though I know Neal's, ranked ahead of him. Neal coming off some losses. That could be a potential matchup for the near future. We'll see what they want to do. But Khamzat, straight to the top. And I do see him potentially fighting for that crown because I really think he is one of the best welterweights, if not the best welterweight on the planet right now. The next fight, Alexander Volkov, Marcin Tybura. Volkov showed some good technical stand-up, patient attack as we always expect, good takedown defense, and actually got some top control on Tybura. Tybura really didn't have it here. I mean, there was really not a ton he could do. Volkov is not a guy that's going to punch himself out. And you look at Tybura's recent wins, it's against guys that punch themselves out. They gas, he secures top position and gets the finish. It's not going to happen with Volkov. He's a slower-paced guy. Wins the fight, unanimous decision, clear cut. Now, moving forward, I don't think everybody's clamoring the bit, when can we see Volkov fight again? But he's still a damn good fighter in the heavyweight division. The matchup, rematch, Derek Lewis. That's the one. If they don't want to do that, Jairzinho Rozenstruik's obviously in the mix there. Volkov's right near the top. I don't see him ever breaking into that top three because Blades is going to give him hell. Gon gives him hell. I think even Stipe Miocic could give him hell. I mean, that'd be an interesting fight, him and Stipe, just with that simple size difference, but who knows what Stipe wants to do. Tybura, moving backwards. I don't know what they'll want to do. I don't know how much time he'll want to take off. If a name like Chris Dawkins could potentially be in the works in the near future, we'll see. But Tybura, as a title challenger, I don't see it. He's really that like top 10 gatekeeper, top 8. Right there, he tends to lose to the next level of guys. But good win for Volkov, and he's maintaining as one of the top 5, top 6 guys in the world at heavyweight. Now, the featured bout of the night, put a stamp on it. Islam Makhachev deserves to be fighting for a belt soon. He destroyed Dan Hooker. It wasn't close. It wasn't a fluky KO like people would say about the Chandler fight. It wasn't a back-and-forth war like Poirier had. He took him to the ground one time, locked in a Kimura, and made the man tap. Not competitive. Islam Makhachev is developing into that guy. Who knows? I mean, maybe will be able to surpass what Khabib Nurmagomedov was able to do in the fight game. Makhachev is a monster. If he gets on top of you, it's done. I don't care who you are. Moving forward, who does he fight? It's really going to depend strongly upon what direction the UFC goes in. Does he fight for the title before Gaethje and Chandler? And I know Gaethje and DC had a little beef about that, about Makhachev being asked, oh, how would you jump it? How would you jump him in the rankings for the title shot? But I'd rather see potentially Makhachev in there. I think they're going to make him wait. It's going to be Beneil Dariush Makhachev next. I think that is the most sane outcome, and that is a hard fight because, you know, Beneil Dariush can wrestle his ass off, great submission game. That's a stern test that I want to see from Makhachev. I do think Makhachev beats him. I do think Makhachev eventually fights for that belt, but I think that's the one. The wrestler, the tricky wrestler with good submissions. Stand-up-wise, I think Makhachev has some advantages there. That would be a very intriguing fight for Dan the Hangman Hooker. So he's in a weird spot. If Conor McGregor was a normal fighter, I'd say looking at the rankings, Dan Hooker, Conor McGregor next, but that won't happen. It could be Dan Hooker, Tony Ferguson potentially, or Dan Hooker is going to be forced to potentially wait for a loser of, you know, Gaethje Chandler. If Gaethje loses, he could be put in some weird lingo spot. You know, he's in a tricky position because he's ranked at the top. I believe, what is he ranked? Number 6 right now. This is without the rankings change. Right now, Dan Hooker's number 6. Makhachev was number 5. I do think Hooker could potentially retain the spot, but they may move Dos Anjos up, who's currently at 8. I don't see them giving him Gregor Gillespie. I don't see him fighting Riddell. Diego Ferreira, doubtful. I think he's going to get a loser of like a top-of-the-line fight. Probably will take a bit of a layoff. I still think Hooker's a fun player in the weight class, but stylistically, Makhachev is hell for him. It's just not a matchup he's going to win. 9 times out of 10, he probably loses it, maybe even 10 times out of 10. Great win for Islam Makhachev, who I do believe may hold that belt in the near future. Now, the co-main event, talk about like near all-time classic status type fight. Amazing first round by Cory. Petr Yan starts turning up in the second. It's more competitive. Third round, Yan starts taking over. Fourth round, Yan really takes over. Fifth round, competitive, but Yan wins it. Head kicks land. Beautiful hooks land. Spinning back fist that wobbles and drops Sandhagen. Also a follow-up hook by Yan. Sandhagen went for some flying knees, had some good peppering boxing, dug with some beautiful body shots, had some takedowns of his own, got some top positioning a little bit, but not much. Petr Yan, clearly the stronger guy when it got to the ground, even though Sandhagen with his length and being, you know, not tired early was able to have big moments. But it's been proven going later into the fight, Yan is a different level. Dominates Sandhagen. Clear-cut number 1 guy in the weight class, but now Aljamain Sterling holds the true belt. Interim champion Petr Yan. I think they do that fight. I don't think you can go in another direction. If there is one more delay for Aljamain, they will strip him, and it will be TJ Dillashaw, Petr Yan. I think next is going to be Aljo for sure, but if something happens, Dillashaw would be the next guy. For Sandhagen on the opposite side, he doesn't hurt his stock with the loss as much as most fighters who lose would. He's still top. He's still right there. He still could potentially get another title shot very soon. If you're Sandhagen, you're probably fighting the loser of Rob Font and Jose Aldo. And I think that's a great fight. Whoever wins that fight is right near the title shot. I think Sandhagen can potentially fight the loser. Maybe you'll do the winner of Aldo and Font versus TJ Dillashaw for the number 1 contender fight, maybe on the same card as Yan versus Aljamain Sterling, and then you sell that potential matchup. But overall, great fight. Great performance for Yan. Nothing to be disappointed about if you're Sandhagen outside of not winning the belt, but he put up a great performance. And both guys, top of the line. I think Petr Yan is the best bantamweight in the world. Aljamain Sterling still, though, holding that undisputed title. That we got to see that second fight. It has to happen now. Main event of the evening. Upset. Massive one. Glover Teixeira, 42 years of age, defeats Jan Blachowicz. I'll be honest with you. Jan looked flat. He didn't look like he had much for Glover from the start. I saw right away the way Glover got him to the ground, the pressure, looked like he was going to be Glover's fight. Then second round, you get beautiful hook by Glover that wobbles Jan. I'm not making excuses for Jan, but I feel like this more reminisced the Jan of the past that, you know, was on that losing streak. He didn't look like that same animal. I don't know if it was because Glover Teixeira has that animal inside of him, the Brazilian pit bull, I guess is now officially his nickname. Glover's a monster, man. And at 42 years of age, he's still able to beat top-of-the-line guys, wins the belt, becomes the champion 20 years later after starting the fight. How crazy is that? This guy has been fighting for so long. He made his MMA debut in what year? Wow, 2002. And now, in 2021, nearly 20 years later, 19 years, he ends up becoming champion of the world. That's crazy. 42 years of age, gets the world title belt. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. And it was with a great performance. It was clear cut, no controversy. When he sunk in that choke, Jan tapped quick. Glover locked it in completely. He looked totally on another level on the ground. His pressure looked another level. Jan had nothing for him. Glover Teixeira becomes the champion. And now what's next? It's Yuri Prochazka. You have to do Yuri Prochazka. There's no other option. Him and Yuri's a sweet fight. It's one that I'm very intrigued by. But where does Jan Blachowicz go? I don't think he's super far away from a potential rematch if he was able to get a 1 or 2 wins together. The fight for Jan moving forward, looking at the weight class, Prochazka Glover happens. Rakic is in the wings. He might potentially fight Anthony Smith, but we don't know exactly what's going to happen with that. I'm not opposed to a Thiago Santos rematch for Jan Blachowicz if he's interested in that fight. And it wouldn't be an easy one. I don't know why. I'm feeling like Thiago Santos might have his number. I don't know. Jan Blachowicz didn't have that same. I want to see the Polish power back. I would love to see him bounce back with a great performance and win the rematch with Thiago, but I don't know. That's a tricky fight. I think Thiago's next for Jan. For Glover, it's going to be Yuri Prochazka. Overall, the light heavyweight division is in a damn good spot. Amazing card. It was excellent to watch. Loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Hope you guys enjoyed it because it was great. Loved covering the event all week long. Got UFC full card predictions dropping for UFC 268 tomorrow, so make sure to tune into that. Smash that like button, guys. Show some love. Let me know what you thought of the card. Let me know what you thought of the potential future matchups and the fights. Thank you all so much, guys, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. Like, subscribe, turn those post notifications on. Much love to everybody tuning in, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace, guys.